the Force be with you, so you will become part of the dark side. Dude, what are you doing? Yeah, that's exactly why I want to know what you're about to be doing. Oh, sorry, I'm doing my impression of the forms of the Star Wars Day today. Ah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's probably true for that circumstances anyway, so... Hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen? It is I am the one and only Ray the Flying Squirrel here, and I'm Mighty the Armadillo here, as well as PacMan here from the likes of the Maxi Toys videos, and welcome you back for some more of the forms of our Let's Play of the Simpsons Hit and Run for the Nintendo GameCube, PlayStation 2, Xbox, and PC. So yeah, last time we've essentially managed able to get the game started by going through the forms of a tutorial mission, along with the forms of the other two missions from level 1. So overall, it's actually pretty easy, all things considered. So eventually though, the game starts to get a bit difficult if you're trying to hunt for something. So in this case though, yeah, today for this video, is the fact that we might continue with the rest of the forms of the story-based missions from the likes of in level 1. So as a result of that kind of stuff though is the fact that we can possibly able to actually just to complete every single story missions before we move on to the forms of some extra content from the likes of in level 1. So in this case though, before we do all that stuff though, as you can see, that what PacMan is about to be able to take control of this again, because I get the strong sense of feeling that for the later parts, especially noticeable whenever we progress to the next few levels, that we might decide to able to take turns when it comes to likely take control of the game. Like for example, if PacMan has pretty much completed level 1, and then eventually whenever we move on to level 2, I think some toys else were able to take control of it this time. Like, I believe I must will take control of it in level 2, and then basically Mighty were able to take control of it in level 3. So yeah, you probably get the idea about that. So as you can see, I somehow managed able to purchase the final 2 costumes right here, which are Mo, and especially noticeable with the chosen one. So because obviously we've managed able to get our level progressioning there, so yeah, let's not forget to ourselves about the fact that it's important to know that we need to grind as many of those coins as we possibly can, because obviously without that, then basically that we have to able to get ourselves a bit of a busy work. Yeah, especially noticeable about the fact that, well, we can able to actually show you guys some different outfits in particular for the sake of the forms of the actual progressioning for the sake of time. So yeah, you get the idea about that. So yeah, obviously though is the fact that today's day is of course the May the 4th today, in this case in 2022 today. So of course you know what today it is for this point, guys, and that is the fact that is of course Happy Star Wars Day, everybody. Especially noticeable because obviously May the 4th be with you, meaning May the Force be with you. So, but there's also technically Revenge of the 5th, which actually referenced the forms of Revenge of the Sith from the likes of the forms of in episode 3 from the forms of the Star Wars films department. So yeah, it seems kind of interesting, all things considered. So anyways, let's go back inside the forms of the Simpsons house, and also we need to talk to Marge again for the next mission. So
Homie, you're late for work. And today's your workplace evaluation with Mr. Smithers.
Ah! You'll find my scorpion farm. Then where will my scorpions live? Only one person can help me. Lenny.
okay, so Noah's going to go back outside, I should say. And also, we need to find Lenny. So in this case, though, we need to able to go to Krusty Burger. Oh yes, the most famous restaurant for certain The Simpsons episodes. So yeah, it's pretty noticeable because it almost inspires by like Burger King or McDonald's or anything else to be more specific, except it's more accurately like The Simpsons kind of version of between these two restaurants combinations between, you know what I mean, Burger King and McDonald's, and you name the rest. So anyways, here's Lenny here, so let's talk to him.
How about a breakfast churro?
No time. Tell me where to find Mr. Smithers.
Yeah, I think I saw him at the Quickie Mart. More breakfast churros for Lenny.
I'm gonna need a car with a little more junk in the trunk if I'm gonna take him out. I wonder if Barney still has the Plow King.
So before we start this next mission, it's important to know we need to purchase the Plow King, because obviously it's a requirement for, you know, doing this mission entirely. And to find that, we need to find Barney here.
Barney, can I borrow the Plow King?
Take what you want, sexy leprechaun. Just don't shoot me with that dart gun. Oh.
Whatever.
And a good thing we did manage to get enough coins, so that way we can able to buy this particular vehicle. So, yeah, because this is obviously a reference to something related to Plow King episode, which basically does the fact that after when Homer Simpson managed able to become Mr. Plow and all that stuff, and as a result though, that Barney just somehow managed able to get himself Plow King, which is more accurately like the popular version of Mr. Plow. Although it has been a couple of days since we actually last seen that episode, but let me tell you, that episode is so good. Especially noticeable because, well, I was most able to enjoy the actual, the concept of it, I guess. So, despite the fact though that it has been about a couple of days since actually, since we've last seen that episode. So, yeah, anyway, let's just take a shortcut, and we need to able to find, Quirky Mart. So in this case though, we need to find Mr. Smithers and all that stuff though. So yeah, because of that though, as soon as you're able to actually find Mr. Smithers right here with that particular vehicle, it's important to know we need to destroy it fast, because obviously if you somehow manage to realize that we actually got ourselves a red gauge right here, which actually represents that we must able to actually destroy one of those particular vehicles. So yeah, think of like boss fights, except, well, basically that we can't do any platforming here and there. So it's up to you that we need able to actually just to destroy it, like in either multiple directions. But be very careful though, because obviously we still need able to keep an eye out with the faults of that particular gauge. So just in case we don't able to actually get into the hit and run mode. So yeah, because what happens if you somehow manage to get involved with the actual hit and run? Basically what that means is the fact that think of like the forms of the star system from the likes of the forms of Grand Theft Auto, and then basically though is the fact that as soon as when it reaches full, basically is the fact that, well, obviously you might as well get busted and stuff like that. You know, kind of like the forms of how it does it on Grand Theft Auto, so yeah, that seems true for that regard. So now let's go into the forms of the actual power plant, or nuclear power plant, so we can able to actually just to go ahead and deal with more missions here and there. Yeah, because it's pretty obvious, because obviously we need to able to, you know, pay attention to where the arrows is decided able to tell you where you're supposed to go. So yeah, you get the idea about that. So yeah, another thing I want to explain about this particular discussion for this point today is the fact that recently that Mario Kart Tour just managed able to get ourselves a new tour today, which appears to be the Doctor Tour. And not only did I found out about the fact that not only do we able to actually get ourselves one of the actual the Doctor Tours, but we might come across into the Doctor Tour twice, for the sake of the forms of this entire month. So in this case though, like for example, that we on the first week, in terms of the forms of the Doctor Tour at the moment, which obviously not only features Coconut Mall, but also it obviously contains Dr. Mario and Dr. Luigi as far as the cosmetic characters as far as this is concerned. And on top of all that stuff though, the actual item they've got is by the forms of in the capsules. So, but despite the fact that it does look pretty cool for that particular item has been taking place, however though, we still get RNG when it comes to likely getting screwed over most of the time with the actual godforsaken game. Because obviously with grinding, as well as the forms of some bad controls, and on top of all that stuff though, the rubber banding AI can get massively cheap at times, especially noticeable because, well, relatively speaking, I'm just getting sick of the forms of that stupid RMG on us. So anyways, enough about that specific stuff though, let's go ahead and... What the heck? What's up with that physics right there? Anyways, let's go in here to able to activate something for this point right here.
How can I sleep with that camera? Oh, sexy girls could be watching me on the internet. Stupid cameras, you should be smashed. I'll destroy you at your power source.
So yeah, let's move on to the next mission right here, which appears to be Blind Big Brother, and basically we need to destroy these particular power things itself, and then let's activate the level gig right here, and we've actually activated all of the level gigs. So yeah, or gags rather. So yeah, apparently that guy was dead. So basically, in this particular mission right here, it involves around on a lot of emphasis on platforming. So as a result, though, we need to destroy these particular power things itself, and then it's up to you to able to actually destroy all 9 of them. So, but keep that in mind, though, since you're pretty much already used to with, you know, a lot of emphasis on 3D platforming, then you should feel right at home, especially noticeable if you try to do something like this. So. Yeah, because as a result, though, it's actually pretty easy when you get the hang of it, though, because the time limit is actually very generous. So as a result, though, there's not much else we can say about this mission, so... And also that, speaking of the forms of how in fact, when I mentioned this earlier about the Dr. Mario is actually now a playable character, along with Dr. Luigi, but also we might as well come across into Dr. Peach and Dr. Bowser based off from Dr. Mario World. After that particular game has been like, been a massive closure ever since about a year ago almost. Yeah, because it seems it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain honestly, because it's been such a long time since we've last played Dr. Mario World, despite the fact that that particular game is now closed, because obviously the service has been shut down, so... Anyway, so we got ourselves the collector card, and let's just go ahead and move on to, I would say, the next mission. So in this case, though, we need to head back onto that particular, the exact same room as we went to before. But first off, let's go and grind for some more coins, so just in case we'll try to able to buy something later on. Especially noticeable if we pretty much done with level 1, then you know what I mean, so...
Finally, I can get some sleep.
Mindless drones! Return to your ugly families.
Ow!
So alright, we got ourselves mission complete, and now we can able to actually move along to, back to drive into the Simpsons house. But, before we deal with all that stuff though, let me go ahead and take care of the forms of some other bits and bobs here and there, for the sake of the forms of this entire area. So in this case though, despite the fact that we just messed it up completely, so, oh well, no big deal, but at the very least we can able to backtrack for a bit. Yeah, because usually because this game has a lot of emphasis on exploration, plus it's open world, so it doesn't bother me too much about it though, because, you know, just like in Super Mario Odyssey and stuff like that, exploration is the main factor when it comes to likely discovering secrets and all that stuff. Well, usually mind you about, oh jeez, that our gauge is almost decreasing, so we have to be very careful about this. And on top of all that stuff though, oh jeez Louise, there are so many people everywhere. Yeah, sometimes though it's pretty easy to do sometimes, especially noticeable if you accidentally drive right into the forms of the other The Simpsons characters and stuff like that. Well, usually most of the time though it's all about steady and patience, I guess. So, anyways, I believe we're pretty much at the halfway point in terms of the forms of level 1 so far. So in this case though, we need to break right there, because I get the strong sense of feeling that we somehow bypassed the actual collector's card, and on top of all that stuff though, I get the strong sense of feeling we're actually missing something as well. So yeah, we're just gonna have to run on foot, and then basically we can able to, well, as far as we see on the distance, we have the wasp camera, so we can able to expect that we can able to actually get some more coins from here. And also, like you said before, PacMan, there is actually a collector's card somewhere up there. So in this case though, let's jump for it, and there we go. Pretty easy and self-explanatory if you managed able to know where the actual specific stuff are. So, but before we deal with all that stuff though, let's go and call the telephone, so that way we can able to get one of our vehicles, so that way we can able to, you know, take a drive and all that stuff. So, another thing I want to explain about this as well is the fact that we actually got ourselves a bit of a teaser trailer of any sort, which appears to be by the forms of, well, it's about time that we've now finally got some more info from the sake of the forms of Sonic Prime for the Netflix series. So yeah, it's about time to able to actually now finally hear about the forms of the entire Netflix series itself. So, yeah, because obviously, like I said before, it does feature the teaser trailer, and somehow Sonic got another different voice actor. Because mind you, it's not Roger Craig Smith or Ben Schwartz, I think that's what the actor's name was. Although I apologize for that particular incorrect spelling with that particular actor's name. Well, because as a result though, it has been about a month ago since we actually last watched Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the movie, because obviously we're still waiting for the DVD release or the Blu-ray release. So, well, mind you about the fact that with Paramount Plus in mind. Oh, and by the way, something's worth mentioning is the fact that if you try to drive towards the actual boxes, if you couldn't tell, basically, if you somehow drove straight to the actual boxes by complete accident with any vehicles in mind, basically though is the fact that the boxes will be automatically destroyed if you somehow manage to drive straight towards it. So, yeah, something's worth noting for, especially noticeable about the fact that, well, you know what I mean, because of how the fact that we just got distracted on other infos on certain other things recently, so you probably get the idea about that situation, so. But anyway, and also another thing I want to classify for something as well, I guess, is the fact that we still have no luck of the forms of ND World presentation so far. Well, mind you, because of how the fact that, well, Nintendo is absolutely doing a lot of busy work at this point, so as a result though, it might be hard to explain, because obviously it has been about a couple of days since we managed to able to last heard about the forms of Nintendo Direct stuff sometimes. Although, mind you, they must able to try to save it up and during at some point during the course of, well, let's just say particularly for the sake of the forms of, well, next month if possible. Because as far as I've heard about the forms of several other reports or anything else to be more specific, then obviously they will try to able to actually do a direct at some point in next month. So despite the E3 this year has been officially cancelled completely, so. But we'll just see what happens there, Ray, especially noticeable because, well, at this point in time is the fact that we're almost there to summer season. So, yeah, despite our weather condition is a bit meh, because obviously it was very, very, very gloomy and cloudy at the same time. Well, mind you though, is the fact that hopefully the temperature might as well be increased during the course of the later days to come. So, anyways, let's head back into the Simpsons house to do with another mission, while simply just able to actually sit down on the sofa, and let's double check on the level progressioning there. So naturally we've got 53.5% done with the game. So, yeah, it feels like we're almost done here. So in this case, let's go ahead and take a seat on the couch.
Leaving the famous bearded cartoon creator incarcerated in a Peruvian jail. In other news, local citizens are outraged over the discovery of surveillance cameras throughout the town. We go now to City Hall, where Mayor Quimby is fielding questions from an angry mob.
These miniature cameras are an outrage. Spying on our women's dressing rooms, bathrooms, and locker rooms is unforgivable. I think I speak for all Springfielders when I say, where is the sexy footage?
In other unexplained news, strange black vans have been appearing all over town.
Marge, that black van is spying on us.
Oh, homie, you're so sexy when you're paranoid.
Okay, so it looks like about the fact that they did manage to discuss on something, ranging from the forms of those wasp cameras and stuff like that. So now we need to head back outside again to able to take on the next mission. So in this case, we need to able to hop onto the vehicle again, and now we need to follow that black van, apparently. So in this case though, as you can see on screen, that we now ended up with the green gauge, which actually tells us that something is related to the distance that you're able to actually get closer into. So in this case though, we need to able to actually follow the black van at all times. And then on top of all that stuff though, is the fact that we don't able to lose track of himself, because obviously if we lost track on him at all, basically the mission itself will be over and done with. So because of that though, or to be more specifically, you will fail the mission. So luckily there's actually a retry option, so if you failed that particular mission, then obviously I think, well, it only been obvious for the sake of the forms of another selections of missions that we can able to actually show off during later on throughout the game. So yeah, for the most part though, is the fact that we need to able to keep following that black van at all times. So just in case we can able to actually guarantee that we will able to actually complete that particular mission entirely. So yeah, that pretty much explains that, so... Alright, so let's just go ahead and be very careful not to screw this up, because obviously we keep on, you know, getting our car damaged and stuff like that, for that nature. But hopefully, though, we can able to actually expect that we'll try to able to, well, repair it, or I don't know what you would call it that, because it has been about, you know what I mean, a couple of years ago since we've last played The Simpsons Hit and Run. Well, mind you, about the fact the matter is, though, is the fact that we definitely watched the entire Let's Plays of it, especially on the PC version. They did a lot of specific speedruns out there. More specifically, with certain portions has been skipped, and even some other times, though, with some impressive skills and all that jazz. So, yeah, you probably get the idea about that. So, anyway, so it looks like we pretty much made it.
Oh, Mr. Burns is behind all this. Evil spying is so like him, that wrinkled old monkey skeleton.
So yeah, we actually made it up on the forms in that particular area right here. So yeah, that seems pretty swell. So now we need to able to go and drive to the grocery shop next. So in this case, though, we need to find... Although before we go into the grocery shop, we need to find a specific amount of stuff here and there. Like, for instance, there was actually this very well hidden vehicle in here somewhere. Yeah, because the reason why we pointed things out is because as soon as you try to find one of those particular vehicles later down the road, then basically you can able to actually access by driving onto those specific, you know, hidden vehicles, like this one in the distance over there. But first things first, though, let's take down this wasp camera right here, so we can able to grind for more coins here and there for later down the road. And especially on top of all that stuff, though, we can able to actually just, well, despite this car is a little bit damaged, but hopefully we can able to repair it. And during later on, if we find so many of those wretches and stuff like that. So here we go, we actually stumbled across this particular vehicle. So, at the very least, I'm not exactly sure what this vehicle was called, by the way, so let me know in the comments. And also, as far as I realized something, is that this vehicle is pretty fragile. Because, well, for one thing, is the fact that the top speed has actually gone super tremendous right here. And on top of all that stuff, though, if you bump into something, especially noticeable with those street lights and all that stuff, and even certain vehicles for that matter, yeah, it can easily get into smoke effects very easily. Because again, like I said, this vehicle is pretty fragile. So in this case, let's get ourselves... Whee! Wow, that is so cool with that distance right there for that particular jump right there. But enough about that specific distractions, because we somehow made it to the grocery shop. So in this case, let's go ahead and talk to Marge. But before we do with all that stuff, though, let me just go ahead and, or in this case, let me go ahead and double check on certain things before we do anything, because, you know, I'm taking control of this, whilst for you, Ray, will save it up until in the next level, so, because, you know, like you said before. But anyway, let's just go ahead and destroy that, and yeah, we can now talk to Marge. So yeah, I don't think there's anything else up there, so yeah, I think we should be all set. So yeah, let's talk to Marge.
Mr. Burns is spying on everybody. We've got to follow him.
Not now, Homer. A new violent video game has hit the streets, and we need to get rid of it before it warps any children with its bloops and bleeps.
But that game sounds awesome.
And therefore should be destroyed.
I guess.
Okay, so it looks like we're about to be able to do a bit of a collectathon kind of mission, but we have to do it in a time limit. So in this case, we need to take control of this particular truck, or to be more specifically with this car, as far as what Marge is actually going to be tagging along with you. So basically, this mission right here is the fact that it's your job to able to actually get 10 of those deliveries out of the actual van. However, though, you have to hit the van, I would say 10 times, to be more specifically, as you can see on that little red mark. So in this case, though, one of these items has been dropped. So in this case, it's important to know we need to keep on collecting these things, because if you don't collect them at all, then basically it's the fact that you have to worry about the time limit. So it doesn't matter how many times you're gonna hit that particular van. So yeah, you can essentially just keep on driving into it. So yeah, because obviously it's all about collecting stuff, though, as opposed to racing or time trials to be more specific, so, but we'll get to those and join later. So, in fact, we just somehow accidentally drove past that particular item right there, but that's okay, because either way though, it looks like we've only got about 4 more of those boxes left, or specifically those items needs to be picked up. So yeah, that pretty much essentially how this mission goes. So we can able to actually just drift around every now and then, and hopefully we can able to, you know, obtain the insane amount of those boxes as we could. But yeah, aside from all that stuff though, as far as everything else we'd like to discuss, and I do apologize for that particular graphical glitch here and there, but that's only mainly because my capture card somehow feels a bit glitchy sometimes. So anyways, now we're done with the forms of that particular objective, so now we can able to head back into the Simpsons house and drop March off, and we can able to do the next mission.
If only kids would play more video games about sharing.
Marge, you know I have 4 crazy plans. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go spy on my boss.
Alright, so now we're done with that, and I think, fundamentally speaking, we're about to be taking on the last story mission in level 1, before we move on to the level 2, so, yeah, unfortunately this car is so beaten up, so in this case though, we need to find a wrench quickly. So in this case though, yeah, it doesn't matter if you're able to destroy the telephone boxes, because you get coins out of it though, so at least that's that. So, yeah, because that way you can able to actually grind even more coins here and there, despite you won't be able to get that much coins here and there, so yeah, I guess there's not much else to say. So yeah, I'm actually very excited able to actually see the Sonic Prime is actually going to be involved around into, especially noticeable about the fact that, well, the release date isn't exactly confirmed yet, but we expect that it might actually still come this year, along with the forms of course, Sonic Origins, along with the forms of Sonic Frontiers. Speaking of the forms of some other Sonic things as being related to 2022, we pretty much got almost everything for this point in time. The only missing factor is, of course, Sonic Frontiers, which that will be later on. So, yeah, you probably get the idea about the actual releases as far as that's been concerned with, so anyways, let's go ahead and find another Wasp camera right here, which not only this is the only one, but also there's another one up there too. And on top of all that stuff though, it looks like you stumbled across the final collector card. So, or in this case to be more specifically, yeah, you find every single cards. So, yeah, pretty swell I have to say. Now I believe you're able to actually unlock something if you somehow manage to collect all of those collector cards, if I could assure that correctly. But, well, mind you, about the fact it has been a very long time since we've known about this game, so 60.7% done with the first level, so yeah, we're almost there, guys, until we move on to the next level, so, but that won't be until specifically next week, I can assure you to that, because, well, relatively speaking, because until tomorrow, that Maxi will definitely come back onto Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and, well, after that, though, he probably might as well able to save that conversation until specifically later on and during at some point until tomorrow, because obviously that we're still a little bit behind with the forms of uploading schedules alike, but regardless of such though, that's as far as we can able to try and discuss upon, so anyways, let's go ahead and do a bit of a slow speed right here apparently, and yeah, we can pretty much expect how this is going. So now let's head back on to nuclear power plant once again, and this time we need to able to talk to Carl right here. But before we do with all that stuff though, there was actually a bit of a sequence breaking if you try to able to do this in the right angle. So, because obviously we've seen this before, so basically we need to line up the actual car, to be more specifically where it's like a half shadow and a half light. So if you try to do it successfully, like if I was trying to able to like drive straight into, is this correct? Nope, it isn't. So yeah, because there was actually the sequence breaking if you managed to do this right. So I think this will do for the half shadow and half light. So I think that should be all set. And then now we need to talk to Coral right here until we activate this last mission in level 1.
Hey, Homer. You look like you're having one of your trademark adventures.
Danger! Mr. Burns! Mini cameras! Black vans!
Bro, good thing I'm drunk.
Stupid drunk. Oh no, he's going to Warren Burns. I can't believe I'm racing the same guy twice in one day.
What the heck is up with that school bus just driving around on that specific cutscene? So yeah, here we go on to the Fat and Furious. So in this case, we need to beat Smithers to the actual Burns mansion. But since that Mr. Smithers got a head start, and as you can see, our car is being clipped through that particular door. So in this case, you can able to actually cheese this whole way through for this entire mission. So yeah, pretty awesome I have to say, especially noticeable if you try to pull off certain skills like that. It'll just make everything else really easy, especially noticeable you can able to actually instantly manage to beat Mr. Smithers during time, because we've said this before. We've seen a couple of Let's Plays of this game, especially noticeable in certain speedrun clips here and there, for, you know, one of those examples, which is right now. So in this case, we can able to actually instantly manage to beat, you know, Smithers right into the forms of Mr. Burns' mansion. So in this case, that's how we somehow found it, right there. So now we need to talk to Mr. Burns, and we will pretty much do, for the sake of the forms of the story-based missions. So, in fact, despite the fact that we somehow got distracted by, you know, a lot of vehicles and all that stuff, but now we can talk to him.
See, Montgomery Burns, I know you're guilty. Accused! Sir?
Fine, I admit it. I had Amelia Earhart's plane shot down. That hussy was getting too big for her jodhpurs.
No! You're spying on Springfield with your black vans and surveillance cameras.
Black vans? Aren't they connected with some sort of pizziola concern?
What? They were only pizza vans? I'm a Class 5 idiot.
Smithers, release the hounds. And if this oaf is an employee of the plant, fire him at once.
And now we're done with this mission, and then once you finish up everything in level 1, I can assure you, if you press the A button, it'll just transport you into level 2. So I think we should probably hit back onto level 1 off screen, so just in case. We have not done everything, so in this case we off by 1 bonus mission, and 3 street races, and 4 vehicles left, and 4 wasp cameras left. So yeah, that pretty much as far as I can usually do, because we usually normally do story missions first, and then we'll save the extra stuff and during later. So yeah, I guess with that being said for this point, guys, is the fact that, well, since that we pretty much almost run out of time for this recording session, so I think we should probably end things off here. So join us next time for more of Let's Play of The Simpsons Hit and Run. Is the fact that we're most able to 100% everything on level 1 to able to collect the remaining stuff. So in this case though, that level 1 is not done yet. So yeah, with that being said though, so I guess there's not much else to say. So I'll see you guys then.